Now, we all know that one of the things that hinder us from doing what we are called to do is this thing I call the fear factor. The fear factor. All of us face fear in one way, shape, or form. The fear of failure. What if it doesn't work out? The fear of the unknown. What if I fail in the future? The fear of being overextended. What if on resources I don't have enough? What if I don't have enough? The fear of what others think, other people's opinions. And that can be a dangerous trap because people's opinions can immobilize us from moving to the next step. And then the fear of pushing others away. Sometimes you have to offload some people. There are some people we call yesterday people. All of us have them. They loved you, they appreciated you yesterday. And in their mind, you will always be the person they knew 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And they in their mind, they don't see you in a new light, even when you've made progress, you've gotten a master's degree, you've been elevated to leadership, they will always see you as that person. Those are yesterday people. You have to push those people away. You do it graciously, you do it lovingly. And then there are today people, there are people who love you, honor you, serve you today. And those are people that are good people to have. But then you also need tomorrow people, people that will push you, people that will encourage you, people that will mentor you and help you move to the next level. But you need such people. We have to face our fears if we are to grow intentionally. We have to face our fears if we are to grow intentionally. So there are two kinds of growth. There's accidental growth and there's intentional growth. Okay. And many people grow accidentally, you know. Some people talk big. Some people like to play it safe. Some people play victimhood. They're like, for me, I'm a village girl. I'm a village boy. I don't think I can amount to anything. And that becomes the lead, the ceiling of your growth. I would want you to look at these two dimensions here, factors that lead to intentional growth and those that are of accidental growth, and put yourself on this scale. How would you rate yourself? Now, this is an exercise that we might not have time to do, but I hope that you get time to do it. Where would you place yourself on this chart? If you rate yourself from 1 to 10, 10 being you're intentionally growing in this area, you're taking your responsibility for your own growth, you're learning every day, you rely on your own hard work and work ethic, vis-a-vis you learn only from other people's mistakes. Where would you place yourself on this continuum? Because it is important for us to measure ourselves against where we are at so that we can be able to make progress where we're going. So the law of intentionality. All right, moving on. So that was the law of intentionality. It's the first law of intentional growth. Growth just doesn't happen. The second law, and then maybe after this law, I will find out if we have any questions or contributions. My desire is to hear from you as well, not just me speaking. The second law is the law of awareness. You must know yourself to grow yourself. I must know myself to grow myself. And really, to be able to do that, we have to ask the question, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Do I have a sense of understanding self? Is my identity wholesome? Who am I? Because unless you know yourself well, it will be difficult for you to be able to grow yourself. So, do you know yourself? Do you know your strengths? What makes you tick? What gives you a competitive advantage? What are your strengths? What are your talents? What do you do well? What do you do without struggle? What are your strengths? You have to be able to list those down in order to capitalize on them. And then know, what are your weaknesses? What are the areas of struggle that you have? What are the things that you don't do well? What are your weak spots? Or you could even ask somebody who knows you closely what your blind spots could be, because blind spots are weaknesses that you're blind to. Everyone else around you knows them except yourself. And the only way to know your blind spots is to ask people around you. And once they tell you what your blind spots are, they now move from being blind spots, they move to becoming weaknesses. Now you can work on them because you're aware of them. But it's important, it's part of knowing yourself. What are your interests? What desires do you have? What do you want to be, like we asked in the previous law? What opportunities lie ahead of you? You also have to make a very clear, realistic assessment of where are you today. Because to know where you're going, you have to be very, very clear as to where you are today. And also list, where do you want to be? That is the process of trying to know yourself. And once you have those things written down, now you have a blueprint and a realistic picture of who you are, So knowing these critical areas of your life will tell you where you are, and they'll help you reach your full potential because you know where you are and where you want to go. Okay. So when it comes to this law, the law of awareness, there are three kinds of people, according to John Maxwell. He says there are people who do not know what they would like to do in life. So these are people who just live a confused life. They just basically they are gliding and coasting through life. Okay? They don't know what they want to do, and some are okay with it. Some are not disturbed by it. I hope you're not in that category. Or if you are, there's room to grow. Then there's the people who know what they want, but they don't do it. And these are people who live in quiet desperation. They are frustrated. You know what you want, but you don't do it. Then the third category is the people who know what they want and they do it. Very simple. And these are people who are on the journey of being fulfilled. The question I have for you, where are you on this list? Are you one of those who don't know what they would like to do? Are you the one who knows but you don't do it? Or are you on the journey of doing? Again, this is why we call it personal growth. We grow through learning where we are and where we'd like to go. Okay. Robert Schuller, who was a minister in North America, he says, if you know you could not fail, what would you do? Just think about that question. Just assume with me that there is no failure. You take the failure out of it. What would you do? Think about it. What would you do if you knew that you could not fail? If there was no failure on your journey, what would you do? Very sobering question to think about. Very, very sobering question to think about. And, when you put this question in perspective, you realize you and I are our own limitations. We are our own limitations. Moving on, some people are being admitted into the call. Okay. So, in order to be able to grow on the journey, it's important for you to find and discover your passion and your purpose. And this one for many people is very, very difficult to ascertain. How do I find my passion? How do I find my purpose? It's very hard for many people to go on the journey of purpose and passion. There's a book that I read. It is called Shape. And it's an acronym. It was written by a gentleman called Eric Ries. Ries is R-E-E-S. Eric Ries. And in this book, Shape, he gives steps that you can take to find your unique purpose. And it's a book that leans a lot towards the faith, the Christian faith. But that acronym can give you general principles that you need on your journey of growth, because many people are frustrated between them knowing what their passion is, but that passion being able to be converted into an actual actionable purpose in life. So the S in that acronym Shape, the S is spiritual gifts. They are gifts that have been endowed by God that all of us have. Okay. And I don't want to make the assumption that everyone here subscribes to the Christian faith, but you subscribe to a faith, right? Inside you, there are certain inalienable gifts that you've been given, each one of us, and you tap into those gifts. Then the H in Shape is heart. Heart speaks into what are the things that break your heart, that also break the heart of God. What are the injustices? What are the things that need to be done in this world that you feel when God looks at such a thing, his heart breaks and your heart breaks as well? My wife and I, when we got married, our matron and best man were orphaned when they were still babies. They lost their parents, and they grew up in very, very difficult hardships. And when they grew up, they gave birth to an organization that was saving babies, redeeming babies from dump heaps, from people would come and drop babies leave babies in hospitals, and they felt that was what broke their hearts, that sense of injustice. And they set up a huge orphanage, and they would help get babies adopted into families. That's how they found their purpose. It was born out of their own experience. Then the A in Shape is abilities. What can you do? What skill sets do you have? What strengths do you have? Then the P in Shape is personality. You realize that all of us are endowed with different personalities. Some people are extroverts, some people are introverts, some people are ambiverts. We have different personalities, and sometimes those personalities fuel our purpose. They fuel our purpose. And then the E in Shape, unlocking your unique purpose, is experiences. Some experiences that you've been through in life, usually, if we leverage them, they don't go to waste. God never wastes an experience. Both good experiences and bad experiences can be turned out and leveraged to be able to fulfill your purpose. So, to find your purpose and your unique passion, I recommend that book called Shape. It's an amazing book because it has assessments. You're able to measure, and it's able to take your personalities, your desires, to help you unlock purpose. So that's just a recommendation. It's not part of these notes. I just thought about it when we got to this to this slide. So, do you like what you are doing? If not, what do you need to change about it? Okay, what risk are you willing to take to change the direction of your life? You have to be aware about it. That is the law of awareness. The law of awareness. Okay. On your journey, what is it that your heart is passionate about? I think we talked about it. Okay. So to be able to do what you want to do, to find your purpose and passion, you must have a specific dream. That's what John Maxwell tells us. Your dream must be specific. You must have something that drives you, a passion that drives you, or an injustice. You must have the right motives. You must onboard the right talents, starting with yourself, your own talents and your own uniqueness. And you must develop the gifts that you have. Get yourself trained, get yourself upskilled. But all those have to be hinged on the right values and the right priorities. That is what will give you leverage on your journey of growth. And in order for you to be able to get to the next step on this journey, there are certain things that you have to work on. John Maxwell calls them the B principles, B-E. Number one, he says you have to be committed. You have to be committed. If you have to, please pay people for their time and advice. Usually we do masterminds through even these 15 invaluable laws of growth, and people pay for them because we paid for them to learn them. We also use them in corporate settings as we train. And I really would like to thank, again, Benga and the entire team for allowing us to give you this content free of charge, because we want to add value to you, just like Benga told us at the beginning, because we believe in your leadership and in your own growth as teachers that are running iLead. But there has to be a sense of commitment. Be committed. The other thing you need to do is be consistent. Be consistent. Whatever it is that you want to do, it has to be built on the conveyor belt of consistency. If you are not consistent, chances are you're not going to be able to achieve your dream. Be consistent. The other thing is be creative. Learn from people, even if you can't meet them. We have different kind of mentors. We have direct mentors, people that are within your circles that can give you the value you need. You have indirect mentors. Those are many. You can find them on YouTube. You can find them in books. You can find them on videos. There are people that you probably will never meet in your lifetime, but they have done great things. They have written biographies. They have written frameworks and different concepts and principles. But you just have to be creative on your learning process. The other thing is you have to be purposeful. Be purposeful. Prepare for every interaction. Okay? When you're planning to meet somebody or to talk to somebody who you're going to learn from, please sit down, ask questions, and leverage that opportunity. You have to be purposeful. What I'm discussing with you, the B principles, this is when you are preparing to meet somebody, a mentor, a coach, who will help you to get on the path to do what you want to do, because we need coaches. The other thing about meeting the right people is you need to be reflective. Okay? Reflect on the things you learned, reflect on your discoveries. You're going to discover new ideas, new content, new ways of growing. But you also have to be grateful. Grateful every step of the way. All right, moving on. So in finding we are talking about the law of awareness. That is the second law in the book of the 15 laws of growth. And like we said, the most we'll probably be able to cover today might be these two or even three. Yeah, finding your passion and purpose. That's where we are right now. So how do you do what you want to do? How do you do what you want to do? John Maxwell recommends the 4 A's. Awareness. He also recommends accountability. Finding someone in your space to hold you accountable to the things that you've wanted to do, so that they're able to check in with you. Okay, you said you'll build a house, for example, in the next 2 years. Where are you at? Then action. Without it getting done, it won't get done. And on your way, you attract the right people, the right investors, the right partners, the right networks, whatever it is that you need on your journey of growth. But growth is an inevitable. You will either grow accidentally or you grow intentionally. Really, the choice is yours, and the choice is mine as well. I would like to request the admin. There are people who want to be admitted onto the call. Kindly admit them. All right. So we've talked about the right people we need, how to get there. And I remember I talked about these different principles of being. Be committed, creative, reflective, purposeful, and grateful. All right. Now, for us to be able to grow, please understand that mentorship and coaching is the most potent way to catalyze your growth. It goes beyond education. It goes beyond experience. Education will inform you Experience will mature you, but mentorship and coaching will accelerate you. It will accelerate you. So, and this is usually the format of a mentoring relationship. Okay. When you ask a question and a mentor is responding, the format is you have to be able to hear what he is saying and whether it fits within the frame of your questioning. Here is what I heard you say. Okay. And then also, please know that the best way to honor a coach or a mentor is to put into action the things that they tell you, because chances are mentors and coaches are people of greater experience, people of greater knowledge, people whose time is valuable. And we always need such people to help us on our journey of growth. So when you onboard a mentor and the mentor gives you certain advice and you don't do it, you are going to sabotage your own growth. And that mentor will leave. So it's part of growth. To be able to grow intentionally, we need mentors, but we need to have the right to ask the right questions, but also to put into action their advice, because that is how they are going to notice that you honor their relationship, All right. Moving on. John Maxwell said that the two most important days in your life is the day you were born and the day you find out why. The day you were born was the first important day of your life. The day you find out why is the second most important day in your life. And can I be honest with you, my friends? Many people live life never having discovered why they're on this earth. They simply coast through life. Many people, they can question it, but they leave it there. Unless you become restless, unless you become disturbed and you have the rumblings in your heart of there is more to my life than today. There is more to my growth than today. There is more to my skill than what I have today. Then you are beginning to walk the journey of growth. But you have to contend with the question, is this all there is for my life? And once you begin to ask yourself that question, you are ready for growth. You are ready for growth. I am going to stop here for now, and I will hand it over to Coach Mute to find out if there are any questions, any contributions. Over to you, Coach Mute.
Thank you very much. Oh my God, if you have been blessed, if you have been mesmerized, if you have been knocked, kind of words that will come that will knock your conscience, knock your head, knock everywhere. Wow, amazing. I want to see your emojis. I want to see that expression of how you feel right now in your emojis. Please, let's go. I put it on the chat box. I want to see how you feel. I want to get a feel of your comments. How do you feel right now? I see the applause coming. Thank you very much. More hands are coming. Fatima, thank you. Fabukle, thank you so much. Many hands are coming. Falake, thank you. Thank you. Wow. Some are loving, some it says it's great, some are dancing and it's inspiring. Awesome, 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 awesome. I love the expressions all coming in. Now, one thing I have learned in life is that great leaders ask good questions. Great leaders never, ever say they know it all. They'll always look for an opportunity to ask questions. Questions for clarity, questions for affirmation, whatever it is, they need to ask questions. So the room is open. What is that one question you want to ask? That you will take opportunity of this free coaching session, that's what I call it, to ask a question. A question that normally you would have paid for, a session to speak with a coach. But you have this opportunity here. Ask the question. It could be about anything, your life, because this is all about you. We're not talking about how do you facilitate iLead in your school. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about your personal growth. How can you value yourself more, add value to yourself, so you can be more valuable to society? All right. So, what book can you recommend to measure one's growth? 15 Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell. I think that is the best book I would advise. But maybe Coach has another
Absolutely.
idea. Fantastic.
No,
Because
I wouldn't go past that book. Yeah.
That is a Bible.
It
That
has
should be everybody's
everything.
Bible.
It's like a Bible of personal growth. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you very much for that. Yes, if I have followed all these rules of intentional growth and things are not working out, what do I do? Follow it first and find out if it work out or not. But Coach will answer that question. We always do if. You know, something that hits me this morning while we got a message that we are not used to prompt response, prompt action. You know, that sometimes we like to procrastinate, ask question, overthink. And that's why we fail. Let me just put it the way the preacher said it. That was David Oyedepo said it today. He said, we fail because we overthink things, we overanalyze things, and we never take action on time. And so we fail. So when you talk about following these rules, there's no way you follow the rules well and it doesn't work out. All right. Okay. So another said, I'm inspired and relieved, not clear enough with the accidental and intentional growth. Okay, Coach, you put a little bit light on that.
Yeah.
Accidental and intentional growth. Is there possibility of getting the books? Sure, they're all online. Amazon, go online, ChatGPT, use all the digital footprints you have. You can get some of the books. Surely just go, you get it. Even your local bookshops here in Nigeria, if you are in Nigeria, you can find the books. It depends on which state you are. If it's Abuja, if you're in Abuja area 1, you can find those books. Just take a step to the bookshop or go online, Amazon and everywhere they have it. How do you know or discover the reason why you were born, your purpose? All right, Coach, we'll attend to that. Thank you, Tomu, for that question. It's a question that everybody struggles with. So it's a good question. How do I overcome my fear of failure? Peace. All right. May God give you peace of mind. All right. So, Coach, you will answer that question. You also attend to that. And that question says, one of the major issues is being discouraged when I am criticized. Okay. Especially when I have put in my best. And I know criticism is inevitable. Okay, so yeah, we have an emotional issue. Okay, but Coach will speak to that. They will speak to that. I think those are the questions we have for now. You can speak to these questions while we wait for others to come in. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Coach Mute. Yeah, to Tosin's question, how do you know or discover the reason why you were born? There are people who have taken time and written down practical steps and guidelines to help each person discover their unique purpose. And one of those is a book that I had recommended earlier, the book called Shape. There's a book called Purpose Driven Life. I would like to recommend for you to find that book. Again, that book is leaning towards the Christian faith, but the principles apply irrespective of your faith. Okay, Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren, and there's a book called Shape by Eric Ries. I'm just typing it out for you, Eric Ries, because sometimes you have to do a deep dive to be able to have that question answered than just responding to a question. So Tosin and the rest, please find those books, and they will give you practical steps. They have questionnaires where they will ask you specific questions, and once you answer these questions, it will help to put you in a certain category of areas of passion and purpose that you have, and you can be on your way to finding your purpose. If I have followed all these rules of intentional growth and things are not working out, what do I do? Number one is that when it comes to achievement and science, it is not luck. It is not maybe it will happen. It has literally been, it has been nailed down to a science that once you do certain things, including these laws, once you live by these laws, you will succeed. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you will succeed. Okay? But I should also tell you that one of the ingredients of success are failure. Failure does not mean that you abort a mission. No, it means you adjust. It means you make you seek knowledge that you didn't know. It means you onboard mentors and coaches to help you on that journey. But when you apply these laws, you will succeed because they have been researched from countless people in countless environments, by the way, from fishermen to small business people in the market. The most successful among them are people who live these laws, irrespective of anywhere you live in the world. Okay? So I would like to contend with you, Mr. James, that when you apply these laws, like Coach Mute said, when you apply these laws, you will succeed. And I believe it because it is true. It is true. It is a testimonial of my own life and many, many people that I know. All right. I will go back to the accidental versus intentional growth. I'll go back to that slide in a bit. But let me see. How do I overcome my fear of failure? That's a very good question. You know, if you know the brand called Nike, they do sportswear and shoes. You know, their tagline is just do it. It's one of those things, you do it afraid. You fail forward. If the fear of failure immobilizes you from taking action, then you are not going to know whether you would have succeeded or not. You know, I have a saying, and you can quote me on this. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll notice it's the tagline on my Twitter page. I write and say that success and failure have one thing in common. They are both predictable. Let me say it again. Success and failure have one thing in common. They are both predictable. Failure is predictable when we fail to take action because of fear. And success is predictable because if you ask people that end up becoming successful, is they fear to fail. So you find that the fear of failure motivates those that become successful because they work hard so that they don't fail, then they succeed. But also the fear of failure immobilizes those that fail to start because they fear to fail, therefore they don't start. The question is, which side of the coin are you going to be? Are you going to be those that do it afraid, or those who don't do it at all because you fear to fail? There is no one who succeeded who didn't have a streak of fear of failure. So you will find that failure is a motivator to those who succeed and a demotivator to those who don't. But the differentiator there will always be action. Action, action, action. All right. When I'm criticized, all right. Okay. All right.
Okay, we
Can
have
we have a
another
soft copy of this
question.
presentation? Yes, yes,
Another,
please.
okay.
Go ahead.
We have another question here. Now, how do you measure your growth? Is it more money, more experience, becoming a mentor yourself, or the right job? Okay. So combination of all, even when at that place you are not considered successful, yet you have found a fulfilling peace. I think growth differs for all, although the society may sure it is obvious money. Wow. I think you spoke to this because one, what is success to you? I think when he said, if I've done all, people measure success differently anyway. So what is your measurement is important to you. So coach, maybe you just speak briefly to that, because John will always say people want to measure success by their money or the job they get or promotion. But is that how true success is measured?
Thank you, Coach Mute. Personally, I believe that money is the wrong measure of success. And people who measure success by money are people who live their lives pursuing money. Now, money is very helpful. In fact, the scriptures say, for those who believe in scripture, that money answers all things, but the love of it is the root of all the evil, in the sense that when the object of your pursuit is money, then you tend to make mistakes. But if your object of pursuit is purpose and impact, first of all, what will tend to happen is that money will come. Money is a result of solving problems and creating value. It is always a result. That's why it becomes the wrong measurement. The right measurement should be, how many lives have I transformed? What impact have I brought? And that impact could even be in just business, in the sense that I have served customers with this service or product, but I've been able to also maybe employ 100 people. It doesn't matter. That is the real impact that we should measure, especially the kind of purpose and passion that will bring you fulfillment is how much impact you will have. But like Coach Muta said, that it should be the person who should do the measurement should be you and not society, because society tends to be unfair in measuring our success, and it puts us on an equal what do I put it, on an unequal playing field. Okay, so the advantage that Aliko Dangote has are not the same as the advantages that I have. He started earlier, he was in the right place at the right time, he has a different skill set, so the measurement is to sit down and write, what is it that I want to achieve in my life? Where do I want to go in the next 10 years? And measure yourself against that, because ultimately you are the master of your own destiny and not the people around you. Coach Muta, there's a question I would like to respond to earlier.
Yes.
From Oyinade, the one on this, the one on how do I overcome the fear of the spotlight.
All right.
Yeah. So Yanide asked, number one is, again, ask yourself the question: do you feel like the area of passion and purpose for you is to be in the spotlight? By the spotlight, I mean there are some people whose calling is to stand in front of people and to speak. Maybe you're a communicator, you're a coach, you're a public speaker. Number one is that there is a skill set that you can learn to speak better, to minimize fear. You can actually get trained for it. Public speaking is a skill set, and all of us start from a place of incompetence with it. But our competence comes with two things: constant practice and training. So that is what I would recommend to you, madam.
All right, thank you very much. Do you want another question? Do you want to deal with the accidental and growth explanation? Because we still have one question. How do I attend to criticism? How do I deal with criticism? And then you have another question that says, how do you handle people who don't know where they are or what they want? That's a funny one. Okay, so I have those two questions are there. So maybe you just quickly talk into that and then go into the accidental and intentional growth.
Okay, okay. I have pulled up the slide for intentional and accidental growth. I hope you can all see it. It's coming up, sorry. Can you all see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So John Maxwell says that many people grow accidentally. And that is on your left. That's the list of the factors for accidental growth. Okay, accidental growth is one where there is very little intentionality, but it's one that is usually that wallows in excuses or in ignorance. By the way, all of us have something we are ignorant about. Ignorance is basically knowledge that you haven't yet accrued yet. But when you put yourself on that journey, you can grow. So many people grow accidentally because, they're depending on good luck. or, they want to play it safe, or they think they are victims, all that. Some people grow accidentally because they think they can rely entirely on talent. Yeah. So, but John contends and says that intentional growth is we have to move from accidental growth to actively and actionably with intention, put certain things in place for us to grow. Okay? So, and this is the list of the requisite principles and practices that he says. He says, rather than think like a victim, you need to think like a learner. Okay? Rather than rely on talent alone and gift, you have to rely on character, because you can have talent, but if you don't have the requisite character, your talent will not take you further in life. People will not be able to trust you because they'll say, yeah, she is gifted, but she doesn't keep time. He's really talented, but he is indisciplined. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how big your talent is. For as long as your character does not align to it, it will be a dead end. So that is the difference between intentional growth and accidental growth. Okay? Rather than talking big, there are people who are just big talkers. I'm going to do this, I will do that. You have to follow through. The person on an intentional growth journey has to follow through. Yes, I want to build this, but how? When? With what resources? With which partner? You have to follow through. And you'll find that many successful people, they're not just talkers, they follow through on the things that they dream about. So that is the difference between the two. So you have to measure yourself against this continuum and say, am I an intentional person or am I growing accidentally? Only you can make that choice. Only you can make that choice. Yes, Coach Mute, you said there was another question. I hope that answers this question. All right. Yes, kindly resend your question on criticism. Somebody saying my question on criticism is yet to be answered. Yeah, Josie. Come. Direct it. Sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah, someone is saying, can someone be consistent but not committed? Yeah, somebody can be consistent in bad habits. and
Oh my God, I have been talking. I didn't know I was muted.
Oh, you were muted. Yes, you are.
Yeah, so
yes,
the question is I think I posted it again. So one of the major issues I have is being discouraged when I'm criticized, especially when I have to put in my best. I know criticism is inevitable. So what should he do?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, criticism is a part of life, my friend. It is one of those things that are like when you're cooking food, it's an ingredient you can't help. On the journey of success, you're going to have critics. But now you have to filter through and find out what kind of criticism am I going to take? Is this criticism constructive or is it destructive? We cannot live a criticism-free journey of growth. That is deception. To think that you're going to grow on a journey where people don't criticize you. But people will criticize you for different reasons. Some people will criticize you because they are jealous. Some people will criticize you because they don't know what you're doing. Other people will criticize you because they want to help you to grow. So filter the criticism and use the positive criticism, or what we call constructive criticism, to continue to grow. And then throw away the negative criticism. Please never give airtime to criticism that draws you back. But remember, you cannot avoid it. People will always criticize. That's what people do. But you have the responsibility to determine how you respond to criticism. If all you're doing is looking at critics, you're going to slow your own journey. You know, people that are on the journey of success, the last thing they do is to read criticism. And they actually have people who filter in positive criticism for them, because these are people who are for you and who are determined to help you grow. So you have to make that decision. Not all criticism is good, but you can't avoid it.
All right, awesome. So I think this should be our final question. Except if we have more. Someone said, I'm in a situation where one spouse is not very supportive, and there are programs, events, training, seminars that they really wish to attend or join. However, you rather keep mute about it, knowing that your spouse wouldn't allow it or fully support the journey. How can one get himself or herself out of the situation?
All right. Thank you, Ozioma, for that question. I really empathize with a situation like that, where you're in a partnership and that partnership is supposed to lead both of you to growth, but one person is a saboteur, sabotages the other person's growth. Number one is that, and I find that, and I don't know, because this person said spouse, so I don't know if that person is a woman or a man, but I find that mostly men tend to be the ones that sabotage their wives' growth. Usually it's because of different circumstances. It could be insecurities that they have. It could be knowledge and ignorance that they have. Usually my recommendation, number one, is you need wisdom in a situation like that. You need wisdom and an approach that will help them see your point of view. It's one of those things where it is difficult to push and want to have your way. It becomes futile. But when your approach, for example, is something like, honey, I believe that if you give me a chance to learn this, it will help us to increase our revenue as a family. You know, something like that, an approach that that makes them a stakeholder on your growth journey. Now, I'm not saying that that will always work in that situation, because some people are wired differently, you know. Or if you can find help where somebody can speak to both of you, again, every situation is different, but I can guarantee you that that with persistence and wisdom, usually the heart will turn. But it's a difficult situation. That's a very, very difficult situation. Yeah.
I know how difficult. You seem to be in a very
Yes,
tight corner, but I know.
Coach Mute, say something about it as well. I want to hear your
Well,
thoughts
the
on
only
that,
thing I would say,
especially as a lady. Yeah.
yes, the only thing I would say is that growth is personal. That growth is personal. So sometimes your mates will not want to go with you. I think you can take time off in your own space and your own corner and grow yourself. And while growing yourself, growth has a way of transforming us. And the people will begin to see those transformation in us. It happened to me in 2018 when I joined the Maxwell leadership team. I started learning, I started growing. People started seeing the changes in me. My tune changed, my voice changed, my command of taking charge of things changed. My circle of friends changed. So many things changed about me that you don't have to be told. You can see the way I begin to be. My confidence, I grew in my confidence. I grew in handling things. And when people see the changes, they want to know more. So just take the opportunity. In fact, that quiet space is your best space. Take the opportunity, keep growing yourself. You are here today, you are attending this program. Read books. When you're reading books is part of growth. Listening to podcasts is part of growth. Watching certain things on YouTube is part of growth. So you can keep growing yourself. Gradually, when they see these things, envy, like he said, is one point, they will begin to ask you, how do you do it? At that point, you can easily bring them in. Because another way to preach the message is our personal life. So I hope that would help you. Keep growing yourself. Don't give up. But make sure that your children or those around you see the growth. And growth will teach you how to handle your spouse and how to bring them in. So keep growing, please. Don't give up on growth because of someone. Just like salvation, I'm a Christian, it's individual. The same thing with personal growth, and that's why it's called personal growth and development. All right, thank you very much. I hope that helps. Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you
Very
very
well
much,
said.
Coach Hassan. Please let's give Coach
Thank you
Hassan
so
a
much
round
for
of
the
applause.
opportunity.
Thank you, and our sincere gratitude to your family and everyone in Rwanda. We send our love from Nigeria. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
So we're
Thank
going
you
to
so
be
much.
playing the We're going to be playing the video of Coach. Don't go away because people may have questions on iLead. So we're going to play the video on iLead, our progress so far in Africa. And please, I need you to pay attention to it. And if you have any question, you can put it on the chat box. We'll briefly attend to those questions and take your final comments. Thank you very much, everyone.
Papa John, welcome to Africa.
Murakaza neza muri Afrika, Papa John.
Bienvenue, Papa John, en Afrique. On t'aime beaucoup.
Papa John, anyị na-ekele gị nnọọ n'ụlọ ndị Africa.
Ọ̀gbẹ́ni John, ẹ káàbọ̀ sí ilẹ̀ adúláwọ̀ èyí tí a ń pè ní Áfíríkà.
Baba wa Ife John, familia na isanyoeleke wanomu Afrika, venga iziba iLead.
Kaka John, familia na isanyoeleke venga iziba iLead mu Afrika.
I have to make good decisions. That is to choose the right friends and to say no to peer pressure. When we make good choices early, it shapes our character into becoming leaders who stand up for what is right.
Attitude is something I have, but it's not a positive attitude that I had. I had one very negative attitude where I'd always disrespect my teachers because I was very strong and feisty for my stature. I usually enjoy my classmates even though they are not my same gender. I learned that I can change my attitude by also trying to understand myself first. As I learned about attitude, I realized that I didn't understand myself until I learned about the topic attitude, and when we finished it, I could understand myself, and now I have a positive attitude.
Procrastination is telling yourself that you can do something later. And as John C. Maxwell said, procrastination is a fertilizer to all problems. Now, with good time management skills, you'll be able to make a proper schedule, which means if you don't do something then, it will affect everything else in that day, which will cause even more problems, and I don't think anyone would want that.
Want to do that? Wow!
Thank you, Papa John, for valuing us, adding value to us, and making us leaders of value.
Since we launched iLead over 4 years ago, we have seen hundreds of thousands of students discover amazing values like purpose, integrity, and courage. These are not just leadership lessons, they are life lessons that will carry them on to be the leaders that their nations deserve. Across Africa, a quiet transformation is taking place. From the youth of Uganda to the classrooms of Rwanda to the schools of Nigeria, students are learning to live and lead with good values.
I've become more confident and more purposeful. iLead has given me a new vision for my life.
Before iLead, I used to doubt my potential. Now I believe leadership starts with me. I am a change maker.
Papa John, on behalf of the iLead Africa family, we thank you for sowing seeds of great transformation. Thank you for valuing African leaders and adding value to the next generation of the leaders of this continent. Your heart for young people is changing the African continent one student at a time. We thank you, we honor you, and we are proud of the work that you are doing to transform lives.
From Rwanda to Uganda, and then Nigeria, and now to Kenya, iLead continues to grow across the African continent, touching the next generation of African leaders. We are excited to welcome Kenya into the Africa iLead family. In June of this year, we had successful stakeholder meetings at the invitation of Lydia Ziwa. And through those meetings, we will now launch iLead for students in Kenya in 2026. Lydia, thank you for opening the door for Kenyan students.
On behalf of the iLead leadership across Africa, John Maxwell, thank you for allowing God to use you to impact millions of students around the world through iLead. Over 250,000 students have experienced iLead across the continent of Africa. And our goal is to reach over 20 million students with iLead by 2030.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So that's our story. That's our story. And for those of you who have been working with us, transforming lives, just know that you're not alone. You're part of a big community. You're part of a community of people who value themselves and are ready to add value. So if you don't understand your purpose, you can start adding value to young people through iLead. And I'm sure through that method, you'll find your purpose in life and the things that you're passionate about or the things that break your heart. Any question? Do you want to talk a little bit about it? Or we're good to go?
Oh, you mean me?
Yeah. Is Benga around? I don't think Benga is on the platform. I can't see Benga.
Somehow I was not. Yeah, somehow I was not able to see the video, but I'm sure it was a good one, just that gave perspective. Yeah, so the iLead program was a program that was conceived by John Maxwell. John Maxwell is the world's most celebrated leadership authority. He has been teaching on leadership for the last 50 years, and he has written almost 100 books on leadership. So a few years ago, he wrote a leadership curriculum and content for students. And basically, it's about leadership values. And in his mind, when he was writing that, he was noticing that that adults were not leading on values. That's why we have the issues that we have in our world today. And he felt like if we are able to combine leadership skills, normal skills, which is what students learn in school, and values, that we will be able to raise a holistic, responsible, values-based human being. Yeah. So the other thing about the curriculum, so it has 3 levels: I do, I choose, and I lead, which is the choices you make. That is level 1 in I choose, and then leads to the right actions, which is I do, and the right leadership principles, which is I lead. And this curriculum, as some of you have been able to already take it to your schools, it is peer-led. It is peer-led in the sense that it is not taught, but it is given to students for them to lead themselves through these conversations so that they can hold themselves accountable. And the reason why they chose that process particularly is because there is a general understanding that young people tend to learn good behaviors or bad behaviors from their peers. Okay? So we leverage what we call positive peer pressure. That is the students holding themselves accountable towards good values. So once they learn these values within their spaces, they put them into action, they will be able to learn good values. Yeah, so it is a very effective program. It has caused a lot of transformation. The testimonials from students are just, it's just amazing when you hear students say, you know, I had low self-esteem and low self-worth. I wanted to kill myself, and all these things that they're struggling with, but they've been able to come out of that sense of low esteem to be able to put themselves on a path of growth. That is what iLead has to offer. Obviously, iLead is it just complements the different programs. It's not a silver bullet to say that it's the only thing that causes transformation. We would be naive to think that, but it just contributes to the different processes of transformation in the lives of the youth. Yeah. Yeah, Coach Mute, that is briefly what I can
so much.
talk
All
about.
right, amazing. So there are quite some links that are being shared. Please make sure that you connect with it. You can reach out to the coordinators in each of your states to ask some of the questions if you need clarity on any issue. Please feel very free to reach out to your coordinators in your states, and we will be glad to help and to support you to sponsor a school. When we mean sponsors, we mean activate a school, onboard a school. We don't mean that because some people, when we hear sponsors, we just begin to feel like, where am I going to get money? And no,
Yeah.
we will be able to support you. So thank you very much. I want you to go to the chat box to tell me one thing you're taking away with and you're going to work with it for your personal growth. One thing. And if you want to speak, I can just raise your hand and we can let you speak. Victor, your hand is raised. I hope you're sharing with us one thing you're going to go with. Okay? So please, if you want to share one thing you're going away with and that you're going to transform your life with, you can put it on the chat box. You can raise your hand and we'll take 1 minute each. Please go ahead, Victor.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
I've learned that growth doesn't mean you can there is a single way to go. There are diversity, like different ways to increase yourself, both personally, your career path, and let me include spiritually. So I would say that's all part of things that I'm able to take home. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. All right, Veronica, you have your hands up. Please, let's have your comment.
Thank you very much for this program again. I want to say, I've learned this value before, but it has added another meaning to me, resilience. He said, Rome was not built in a day, but how long are you ready to give yourself? It has reminded me that if I am to achieve a success, I have to be ready to start and to stay until it is finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Veronica. Thank you so much for that. Any other comments? Any other person who wants to share what you're going away with today, what you have learned, and what you are going to go with today? Any other person? Please, let's take them quickly. You can also go to the chat box and put it on the chat box. If you want to speak, just raise your hand and we will unmute you. All right? So if we don't have any more persons who want to share their take away or take home, I would like us to, is it possible for us to take our pictures? Is it possible? Okay, so a few more comments in the chat. Let's see if there's any. Be ready to pay the price. It's not enough to rely on talent. Good. What else? I learned to be the evaluator of my success. I like that. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. It's been amazing. I hope that you go back and practice some of the things you have learned. Start with one. Okay, start with half. Even if you can start with one. But whatever you do, start somewhere. I know you've heard the thing is that if you cannot run, walk. If you cannot walk, crawl. But whatever you do, do not stop. Keep moving. Intentional growth, knowing what you want to do and not being confused, not giving up on life. Keep pushing. Good. I just joined. Oh, welcome. But you missed. Anyway, have learned that growth and development is personal and self-awareness is beginning of greatness. And someone had the great pleasure of giving us the acronym for the shape, and that is spiritual gift, hearts, abilities, personalities, and experience. Thank you so much, and God bless every one of you for showing up, for being intentional about your growth and wanting to do something with what you have heard today. What is in your hand? God asked Moses. He said a rod. He said, stretch it out. If he did not, maybe today we won't be having the story of how the Red Sea parted. I'll leave you with that. You know what to do with it. God bless you. My name is Mute Olori, and I'll see you some other time. Bye-bye, everyone.